Alright, so we'll jump into Dancing Nancies today. I'm going to base a lot of this explanation off of the Live at Luther version. That was kind of the jam at the end of that he does. He doesn't do that on the studio version, but I thought I'd throw that in since most of this is going to be based off of what you hear on the Live at Luther version. So of course on the Live at Luther version he doesn't do the same little octave intro that he does on the album and whenever they play it live, which is just super simple. All you're doing is an octave on the E string and the D string, and we're on 3 and 5, and you just walk down to 2 and 4. And I'm going picking down on the E string, up on the D string. Just going back and forth between those two. Pretty straightforward and simple. And then on the actual verse, we are doing kind of a standard Dave chord that he plays a lot. And it's pretty much kind of like a G shape up here on the E and the A string on the third and the second fret. We have our pinky down here on the G string on the 4th fret. And then when we're switching over to this, we're going to be, with our forefinger, we're going to be up here on the E string 2nd fret. This A string is muted with kind of that fat part of your finger right here. So that's going to be muted right there. And then we're going to have our ring finger and pinky fingers on the D and the G strings on the 4th fret. Okay, and you're only hearing those 3 strings. Like I said, everything else is pretty muted. Okay, and then he does that kind of tricky. This is a little bit. It was always tricky for me, and I still haven't gotten this down really well. When he does the open strumming. So really what he's doing there, you're just flattening out the G, B, and the high E string on that last upstroke, okay? So I'll play that again kind of slowly. Same thing here. What kills me on this, and why Dave Matthews, why it sounds so much better when he does it than when I do it, is something I want you to pay attention to, especially if you haven't developed any bad habits like I have. I have a really bad habit of using the pinky anchor down here. I'm sure if you've seen my other videos, you've noticed that I've always anchored like that. Dave plays with a really loose wrist and a closed grip for the most part. Sometimes he'll open it up a little bit, but when I do that, it restricts me. And like I said, it's just a bad habit I've developed. It restricts me from being able to really get a good strum on that. So pay attention to that whenever you're doing that part. And so that's when he starts singing though. He does that. He's not doing that whenever he's singing. That's the verse right there. All right, and then we go into well, I guess you want to call it the chorus or pre-chorus, whatever you want to call it. And he says, "I look up at the sky and my mouth is open wide." What we're doing is we're coming down here. He hits this once. Look up at the sky, and then he says, "And my mouth is open wide." He's just alternating. We're going to be on the 7th fret D string, 6th fret G string. Our forefinger is going to be up here on the 5th fret on the E string for this first note. When you hit it, just look up at the sky. And it says, "And my mouth is open wide." You're going to bring that forefinger from the E string just down to the A string. These fingers are still staying the same. And you're just switching back and forth between those two. But the strumming on that, just listen to it. It says, and my mouth is open wide. What's the use in worrying? What's the use in hurrying? It says all that. That you're just keeping that same strumming pattern that whole time. And he says, almost become dizzy. You're going to keep this same chord shape where it's up here on the E string. You're just going to move it down to the 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, and go almost become dizzy. Okay? And then we're getting to the other part that we'll just go ahead and call the chorus. A standard, good old standard Dave Matthews chord right here. And this is when he says, sing and dance, I'll play for you tonight. You're going to be on the E string, A string on the 7th fret. We have the E string, the G string, 7th fret. We have our forefinger over here on the 5th fret, A string. Make sure that D string's muted. And it really doesn't have to be. You can leave it open too, that's fine. Actually makes it sound a little fuller. We're just going to come down here to a standard D chord. And then we're going to go to A. And then we're going to be on that same chord shape that we had earlier on the verse, this one, but we're going to bring it up here to the E string 4th fret, D string and G string on the 6th fret. Sing and dance, I'll play for you tonight. The thrill of it all, is there. Dark clouds may hang over me sometimes, but I'll work it out. And then he comes back up here and goes, but I'll work it out, and then goes right back into the kind of pre-post chorus, whatever you want to call it. And then almost become dizzy. Okay, and and then like I was saying on the live at Luther College, when Tim's doing all his crazy stuff, Dave Matthews is just kind of he's still doing this, and then they both go into a strumming pattern together that's really heavy. It's gonna be these little bar chords right here. And all that is, I mean, just standard. It's a G here, so 3rd fret, 5th fret, 5th fret, 4th fret, and then same thing here, power chords, just except we're just moving down to the 2nd, 4th, 4th, 3rd, so we're just. Okay, and that's Dancing Nancies. Like I said, it's nothing too crazy, nothing too difficult on that. Pretty good intermediate to, I would say, moderate. There's some things that are moderately, maybe a little difficult on it. So anyways, hopefully this was informative for you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.